What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another weekend edition, weekend view of pound for pound, look around the league, whatever you want to call it. Doing
Yeah.
it live today. Joined by my main man, Jonathan Holder. Jonathan, what's going on, brother?
Looking forward to this so that you don't have to do any editing.
That's right. That's right.
You just
Once this
gotta.
is done, this is it. Like if I mess up, we mess up.
Yep.
There ain't no fixing it on this one.
Nope.
I'll
We're
be
doing it. We're
interested.
doing it live.
That's right, doing it live, as they say. I'll be interested to see how many folks decide to throw us on as they're waiting for their college football to start. Good morning, Chris.
Yep.
We
Morning,
appreciate you
Chris.
joining with us tonight tonight. Listen to me this morning. Chris, who's Oregon playing this weekend? I hadn't even checked to see who y'all got this week.
I think it's a bye week for them.
Oh, is it a bye week? Y'all off?
Uh,
Wow. All right. All right. Well, we got things to talk about, things to get into. So I guess without much further ado, we might as well just get into it. Well, here on the weekend, we've been trying different things, taking a look around the league, as we like to say, to see what's going on because it's not just the Falcons that play in the NFL. Sometimes we wish it was because maybe they would win more if it was just the Falcons. Even though
they figure out somehow to lose half their games against themselves.
That's right. They figure out a way to make my blood pressure go through the roof, some way, shape, or form. But anyway, we have some interesting stories. Nothing like too crazy, but first and foremost, on Thursday night, Justin Fields had himself a day. They went on the road and played against the Washington Commanders, which I think, other than maybe Toby, I think everybody. We'll get to that here in the pick segment, but I don't think neither me nor you expected the Bears to do anything because, like I said on last week's show, I'm not going to trust the Bears until they show me until they show me that they can, right?
Yeah.
Even though, because like everybody was losing their mind in a sense, and we'll get into that here in a second, but that was the first time they'd won a game in over 300 days. There was a meme that we have to retire now that since Elon Musk bought Twitter, has your football team won a game? And they were on the no side,
Oh.
So, but now that has to be retired, obviously. Jolt Gaming, appreciate you joining us. The same with Philip Bonner. And Philip Bonner's out there in Arizona.
Hey,
Dude,
you guys are out there early.
That's right. Yeah, you up early. What are you doing this early in the morning? What time is it out there?
It's like
Is it what, like 4 hours?
It's like 8. I think it's like 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Maybe that's not too bad. I was up at 6 this morning, so I can't say when you got a little kid running around, they don't let you sleep.
I was up at 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, those were the days. Anyway. Oh, those were the days. All right, let's see here. I want to pull up the stats of Justin Fields because it's really interesting. It's not like, other than some bad decision making, that's the problem. Like if anybody had watched JT O'Sullivan
Yeah.
and he had done a lot of videos about what was going on in Chicago. So it was not just Justin Fields. It was a mix of their O-line. It was, the scheme was just nuts and like wasn't making any sense. It's like they were trying to force feed it to Cole Kmet, who I think if JT O'Sullivan ever actually meets Cole Kmet in person, he might like like sock him in the face. I'm not sure. He
Yeah.
does not seem to be a fan of Cole Kmet. But even Justin Fields' day, and I hate to put it to you like this, right? He was 15 for 29. So he was still less than 50% on passing. Or right at about 50%.
Yeah, a little bit over 15%, but 50%. But yeah, it's essentially half of his passes.
Right. And so 282 yards and 4 touchdowns. And for y'all get on me about like, oh, did you actually watch the game? Yeah, I watched the game. A lot of his passes he showed you what you were hoping to see when you drafted him. Like those deep passes look pretty. Look absolutely pretty. And he was hitting DJ Moore on him and DJ Moore have definitely formed a good connection. But this topic really brings itself to QB development. And I think that that's where the topic is really not necessarily. I used, Justin Fields as a catalyst to then talk about QB development and what like what you can really expect. And this goes in with let's see here. I think y'all can okay, here we go. Now
There
y'all
we go.
might be now you might be able to hear me better.
That's a better sound.
Yeah, right. Had to kick it up just a little bit. Anyway, uh so this goes to talk about like not just Justin Fields, but the resurgence of Geno Smith,
Uh-huh.
how Josh Dobbs has played.
Mm-hmm.
The like you think about it, where you find because this conversation is obviously relevant to what's going on here in Atlanta, but where you find your starting QB is it can be all over the place. From there's no rhyme or reason. There's no this guy is going to be it when he gets to the league. You
Yeah.
have, Aaron Rodgers playing Cal Berkeley and Roethlisberger at Miami of Ohio, Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco, respectively, at Boston College and Delaware. You know, so you're going to find your quarterbacks, and you're like, oh, well, JR, those are the old guys. Okay. Josh Allen, Wyoming. You know, uh, our good buddy Chris can attest to Justin Herbert out there in Oregon.
Yeah.
Not known to be producing like NFL starting QB talent.
Like Oregon produced Mariota, and so I mean
Right. You
that
can't.
was pretty bad.
Right. And so, like, you want to
They
talk
have
about like,
scarred the NFL since for that.
well, I mean, Ohio State can make that same claim with all the quarterbacks outside of now you're hoping that the narrative changes with a Justin Fields and a CJ Stroud, right?
Mhm.
And that's just in the drafting sector. Now you get these high profile guys coming in the league, and depending on where they came from, like how are they going to translate into the league? You know, um, what comes to mind is Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is the golden boy right now. He's the one that everybody wants to tank for, right? And Chris is not wrong. Oregon
No.
led Mariota to the Heisman. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
um, but Caleb Williams is everybody's golden boy, and I'm not saying that he's not going to translate or not going to succeed. But what does concern me about Caleb Williams is a lot of his plays come out of structure. It's him, playing hero ball.
Yeah.
And what other quarterback have we seen from that school of offense come into the league and not necessarily translate? Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray played under Lincoln Riley. A lot of his play was, a lot of his ability was the scrambling, get out there and, uh, get on the edge or whatever and move around until somebody comes open. Basically, wait until the play gets busted.
Right.
And
Yeah, but and that can work. But I want to see a guy that can consistently make plays in structure as well as out of structure. But if
right,
most of your plays are being made out of structure, then like either the offense is not good, like the execution of the offense and as a whole is not good, or you're not paying attention, like you don't care, like you're just essentially like, I just need to let this first bit go and then I can run around and figure out something on my own, whatever.
right.
Um, but either way, Caleb Williams is going to be that guy that's going to be the number one pick. Maybe Drake may, if somebody decides like they want to go against the grain. Yeah.
I can't see anybody supplanting Caleb Williams as the number one overall pick if he decides to come out.
I mean,
Now,
it depends. Let's see what happens the rest of the season, right? But
right. But yeah, that's the thing about when I find it hilarious. I made the comment on Twitter, buddy, like pray for my timeline anytime Justin Fields plays, right? Because of him being from Georgia, the UGA, and then a lot of people a lot of Twitter feels like they have to either defend or tear down Justin Fields. It's like
Yeah.
there's no in between on that one, and it gets exhausting. But like as far as Baby J says, we have LA in the building. That's what's up. He's easy. He's up as early over there. Well, I guess 8 o'clock in the morning. Either way, I'm tired of figuring out time zones for everybody. Philip says, he's up early. He's gonna go watch ASU play Colorado, so he can see
Nice.
Coach Brown. That should be a fun game. They gave USC all they could handle last
Yeah.
week,
So, well, like they scored what 20 straight points or
something like that. But that's USC's issue, right? Is even stemming back from last year is they have to basically outscore you. Ah,
yeah.
snap. Who y'all playing today, Damsky? It's Buckeyes game day. So, which cupcake are y'all playing?
That's what I was going to say. What cupcake is Ohio State playing today that they're going to try to convince everybody is this really tough team and so forth. I mean, Georgia does it too.
Oh yeah, no, believe you
everybody
me,
does.
right? Yeah,
But
everybody
now
does it.
this week I'll say like this week against Kentucky.
Kentucky looks pretty good.
Kentucky looks legit.
Yeah, they've looked pretty good. I think they're playing Maryland, I think is what I saw. Which Maryland's been playing well. They're still not on like
I apparently
high.
missed the train on at some point Maryland moved out of the ACC and went to the Big Ten, I think.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, they all those
like,
conference realignments. I can't keep up. What they just need to do is, in my opinion, is something I've said for a while. And this is totally off topic, and we'll get back on track here in a minute. But they just need to take what is called the Power Five and just make them their own league, and that way we could quit with all the shenanigans.
Well,
with
but the problem is like even then you would still have like the thing that a lot of people don't want to get rid of is the UGAs and the Ohio States of the world and the Oregons of the world playing the Sisters of the Poor whatever community college as the tune-up game.
no. You play. It's the Power Five, just like the NFL,
Yeah,
right? It's the Power Five, and you only play.
But those little schools, they're gonna like they rely on getting their butt kicked every year by the bigger teams to get money for their programs because they don't make the money like Georgia and those guys.
Damsky fired back. He says, Justin Fields emergency video? No, not an emergency video. It's just this is our look around the league. But I'm curious from your perspective, did he do enough to save everybody's job, including his own, with Chicago owning what looks like right now the first and second picks of the draft? So I'm curious if he plays this way, is it in his best interest, right? Because it's not been just Fields being the problem. It's Eberflus's defense is a problem. It's Getsy in the play structure, like the offensive scheme
I think,
is an issue.
Yeah, well, I think we'll see what kind of consistency they can give, right? If they can continue to play at least like what we've seen the last couple of weeks is offensively. Defensively, obviously they gave up a whole bunch of points over the last weekend. They did better Thursday. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that continues to roll. If the defense can be consistent and we can see, because you're still going to have bad looking plays, you're still going to have some whatever, but if you can see some consistency with that offense, where it doesn't just look like a total embarrassment, I think he probably has saved somebody at that point.
Yeah, well, I think I ended up agreeing here. Eberflus and Getsy they haven't shown much in my opinion. And he says, both should be canned, and unfortunately, this is the bad part about the NFL, right? Unfortunately, Fields ran out of time. So hopefully, Fields will land in a good spot because May and Williams may be too good to pass up.
I mean, if it's any place other than Chicago, it'll be a good spot.
Yeah, I was about to say May stick to staying in college if if it ends up with Chicago being number one.
Well, Caleb Williams has already come out and said like, or did I don't know.
I don't know if he's come out and said. I
But
think it was his dad.
I think there's been sources,
Right. I think
or
it was
whatever that's
sources
like,
that said if it was
I will
Chicago.
only play with these teams.
Hey, look, it worked for Eli. Okay.
I mean,
So
literally all he's got to do is be like, all right, I'm not going to enter the draft.
yeah, that's it. And like
I'm not going to enter the draft.
in today's world with NIL money, it's not like he's going to be losing out.
Yep.
At least not for a year. Not to hold off for another year, hoping a different team, moves up on him. But anyway, so let's see.
That will be interesting the first time that happens.
Oh yeah,
The first time somebody that like a big profile guy is like,
nope.
Okay, that's cool. I'm going to the NFL, but I don't want to go into the draft because I don't want to get picked by a Detroit, traditionally a Detroit, a Chicago, maybe Denver, whatever bottom of the Atlanta, maybe, if
maybe, who knows,
Atlanta,
right?
whatever is the bottom of the barrel team, they're like, I don't want to mess with that.
Yep.
So I'm just not going to go into the draft. I'm going to wait till after the draft, and then I'm going to pick my team, and they're going to pay me whatever, anyways.
Who knows, right? LAJ says, I was late, but where's Toby? Toby is out of pocket this week. He ain't retired yet. You know how this season goes. He might throw his hands up. But no.
You never know.
All right, moving on to the next topic. We don't spend about 20 minutes on that one, so we're going to have to something's going to have to give here because we got to keep this thing moving. Yep. Trades. We're getting close to the NFL trade deadline, which I think is the end of this month. And we had 3 trades go down this week. You had J.C. Jackson go to the Patriots. Yep. You had Randy Gregory go to the 49ers. And you had Claypool go to the Dolphins. Let's see. Hold on. What is this? Hold on. Dancy's messing with me here. He says, you guys talk about McDaniels has the blueprint for McVay, Shanahan, and LaFleur to add new wrinkles to their offense. Airing it out with. Okay. All right. You're talking about something completely different. All right. Sorry. Had me all messed up there, Dancy. All right. Trades. That's been like one of the bigger stories this week as you're seeing some guys get moved. Normally, like, doesn't happen a ton in the NFL. Trades like in-season trades. So to have 3 go down in a week, I think speaks to different type of contracts and teams being more willing to move off of players than I think they've ever been. So Randy Gregory is probably the biggest name. I don't know. He could be, I guess, a tie between. They're all about the same tier, really, now that I stop and think about it. J.C. Jackson made his name in New England.
Yeah.
He didn't really have a great stint with the Chargers after signing that big contract. He'd even been a healthy scratch a couple times.
He's kind of the reverse Jonnu Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jonnu Smith had some success with Tennessee, then signed with the Patriots, kind of fell into obscurity as a Patriot, and now he's leading the receptions for the Falcons. So
roll my eyes at that one, but we'll save that for a Tuesday. Hopefully that changes. But so the Patriots lost Christian Gonzalez, their highly touted rookie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was done for the year, but I know he went down. He's on IR, but he could be back in 4 games. Yeah. So they traded, obviously traded for J.C. Jackson to get him back, somebody who's familiar with the system, familiar with the coaching staff. And so hopefully for him, who, like I said, he hadn't necessarily had that great of a time out there in L.A., goes back to a more familiar setting and resets his career, hopefully, in his sense. Now, Randy Gregory was an interesting one. He, Well,
originally we thought he was going to be
released.
Yeah. So Christian is done for the year.
Yeah, that's what Chris just said. He said he's done. I thought it was done for the year. I thought it was something more major. So Randy Gregory, talking about another guy who signed a big contract, 5 years, $70 million a couple years ago with the Broncos, now moves off after playing, I think, only 10 games total for them, or at least 10 games last year. Definitely missed some time with some injury. Now
Yeah,
he goes out to 49ers where
he
he's
just gets
part of that
added.
line.
He
Yep.
he just gets added to the pile of talent they have on defense.
Right. Exactly. So I mean he goes out there with Armstead and Joey Bosa and Fred Warner and all those guys, and he gets
All
to,
of them guys.
yeah, he just gets to go out there and pin his ears back and um have himself. Somebody was posted, oh, and this will be a tweet that'll, like, Randy Gregory's going to get 2.5 sacks in a playoff game. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's how it happens. These
Yeah,
teams, a team like the 49ers, because everybody wants to fully say, oh, well, the Falcons could have given them that. They could have used that guy. You're right. The Falcons could have used that type of player. But it's easier for a team that already has a good defense to take a risk on a player who hasn't necessarily lived up to the contract that he signed. It's much easier for them to take a shot than it is for a team that is needing a guy,
yeah.
and to make that trade, you know. Uh so yeah, we'll see how that transpires, but I thought that was a pretty good trade the for the 49ers. Your thoughts on that, John?
Uh, I, I I was surprised for one. Like we thought, the initial news was he was getting released.
Mhm.
So we thought he was going to get released, and I was kind of disappointed when I saw he was going. But I mean, that's what we're seeing is like Claypool. Like, when he gets traded, because apparently Chicago doesn't know how to use him, and he's complaining over there. Uh,
Claypool is a
it,
daggum. He's a cancer.
Yeah, he
Like,
is, and he's going to, but now he's going to Miami, where they're just adding to his strength. He can just be a guy along with Waddle and Tyreek
Tyreek Hill
Hill,
and
and just add into those guys, right? So it's the same thing with the 49ers and Gregory. It's just you just add on, and they can just be a guy.
because if it like you're sending, like, the trade compensations are 6th and 7th round picks, right?
Yeah, they're
So you're
nothing.
sending basically nothing.
Mhm.
It's it's high reward, extremely low risk.
Yep.
If Claypool gets down there, and which I worry about Claypool's personality on South Beach. Like, that's, I don't know, that seems like it might be a disaster waiting to happen. But you send Claypool down there, and if he doesn't work out, you can just cut bait on him and let him go, and it doesn't matter. Same deal with Randy Gregory out. Now, the Patriots with JC Jackson is a little bit more like they're counting on him to come in
Oh yeah,
and, fill a hole that was left by Christian Gonzalez being done for the year.
that's not adding to that's not adding
No.
to his strength. That's plugging a hole in the
Hmm.
in the wall.
It just happened to be a situation where he wasn't meshing or gelling with um, Brandon Staley's defense out there.
I
Um,
mean, nothing apparently is happening on that defense because they've given up a ton of points.
right.
So
So yeah, it's interesting to see those trades go down, and I wonder if we'll see any more uh, before the deadline hits. Talking about Chris down here.
yeah,
Yeah, he says. Oh, no. He says Claypool in Miami is a one-way ticket to a rehab facility. Seems a little tough, Uh,
yeah.
that's a chance. All right, so rolling into week 5, and before we get into the week 5 picks, let's talk about some of the games that are coming up. Or is there any of the games that are on your radar as being exciting games that you are, dude? I need to make sure my keister is planted in front of the TV for this one.
Outside of the Falcons game,
Right,
right? Outside of that, the Sunday night football games, uh, 49ers, Cowboys.
right,
Uh, it is lining up to be the game of the week, which Sunday night football a lot of times tends to be. Um,
right.
I hope to God that the 49ers just squash Dallas though. I want Dallas to be embarrassed that they even showed up for Sunday Night Football. I hate
Right.
Dallas. Will never ever pull for Dallas, and I hate the 49ers. But I hate the Cowboys even more than I do. Exactly, LAJ. I need Dallas fans to be humbled. Um, I don't want Dan Quinn to ever be successful again.
Oh, come on now. I ain't
Because
got no
he
problem with Dan Quinn.
because he ruined our he set us up in a bad position
No.
by wanting like I don't know what kind of players he was trying to put on the field, but it wasn't anything good.
Well, yeah,
Um,
what Dan Quinn has shown is like a lot of coaches with extreme talent, uh, they can make some really good things happen. You know, uh, then that's an interesting deal. Is like, yeah, Dan Quinn has revitalized himself in a sense and um, made a name for himself again as a DC. But how hard is that when when you have a specimen such as Michael Parsons? You know,
yeah,
so if you didn't have that,
well, I mean, you got Micah Parsons, you got
Dexter Lawrence or Demarcus,
Demarcus Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence. I think is on the
that's the
Giants.
Giants. That's the
Yeah,
other
he's
Lawrence.
the
I got
DT over there,
yep.
but uh, like, does Parsons only talk big crap when he's playing a trash O line or Daniel Jones of the Commanders? Uh, like, we'll see. I mean, he's done enough over the last couple of years that, like, I think that he's a real player. But yeah, it doesn't hurt that he plays the Giants twice a year. Doesn't hurt that he plays the Commanders twice a year. But you can
Right.
say the same thing about somebody like what's his face for the Aints.
Oh, Jordan.
Cam Jordan,
Yeah.
he gets to face the Falcons twice a year. He gets to face the Panthers twice a year and the Bucks twice a year. So like what has he got to crow about other than I can play against bad offensive lines, and then when I play against good offensive lines, I don't do squat because that's what happens.
Well, I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, that's going to be interesting to see like who comes out because Dak has been kind of up and down.
Yeah.
Brock
The
Purdy is
offense,
still
yeah, the offense hasn't like for Dallas specifically, the offense has at times looked really, really good, and then they just kind of whatever. They just kind of are just treading water at some point.
check. Berto says, "How's it going, fellas? Just got a $5 scratch off and got $100. It's gonna
Nice,
be a win if I'm this. There it is. Oh,
nice,
he said it was a Falcon scratch off too. That's what I'm talking
nice.
about. That's that good mojo. That's that good mojo, Alberto. I like it. Good job. Oh man. So yeah, I think I'm with you. It has a very much a feel of like the old school '90s. Where the 49ers were good and the Cowboys were good, and you have these marquee matchups, and um, you're able to get one again this Sunday. But outside of that, like the only other game I'm really interested in, obviously the Falcons game that will be at tomorrow. But
Yeah,
the Titans and Indy seem interesting. Like
yeah,
Anthony Richardson is interesting to watch and exciting to watch in a sense. It's almost like watching a baby giraffe figure out how to walk. Watching him figure out how to play in QB in the NFL has been
figure out
uh,
how not to get himself killed. Like
right, exactly.
that's the main thing. That's all you want. Like if I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, the only thing I'm worried about is him getting injured again. Like yeah, I
Yeah,
want to see some flashes, but just show me you can protect yourself. Show me you can play
show
the
me you
game
can
without
protect
dying.
yourself. Yep, and show me uh, that you can play the quarterback position in structure. I
Yeah,
love being able to run. I think the game now you have to have a dual threat quarterback, but that dual threat quarterback has to be the dual part of it. The running part of it has to be on the uh second, like this, not the primary, it has to be secondary. What Josh says, live stream, you guys. Hand pink waving. What's up, P for B? Happening? I got my pink hand waving. Anyway. All right. So that takes care of the topics. Now, time for everybody's favorite part of the segment or part of the show, and that is make sure I had. Hold on, Bam, done. Oh, I did it right. Bam.
There you
Week
go.
5 picks. We're going to add it to the stage. As it stands right now, this is our current records. I am 32-16.
I'm giving them a head start.
Yeah, Jonathan is just giving us a head start. I'm 32-16. Toby is 35-13, the clear leader of the pack at the moment, and Jonathan is bringing up the rear at 31-17, just off pace with me. Me and Jonathan are pretty much neck and neck on this one. And
Yeah.
I don't think after looking at the picks, I don't think there's going to be too much discourse or discussion, but we'll get into it. First one, Toby obviously doesn't get to be here to
Outlier.
gloat
Yep.
that he was riding with Justin Fields and the Bears. Again, I said it last week. I wasn't picking the Bears until they could, prove some form of consistency.
Yep.
So we'll see if I change my mind next week. But on to the next game, Bengals and Cardinals. Now you're the outlier here.
Yeah.
I guess I just get the feeling that eventually the Bengals are going to. Joe Burrow is going to find his second leg.
Yeah,
And
but now he's down one wide receiver. T. Higgins is not good. I don't think T. Higgins is going to be in. So you're down to just Jamar Chase. I'm not saying Jamar Chase is bad,
right.
but like so far they haven't been able to like do their thing. Offensive line has had its woes. Defense hasn't been super duper great. And Dobbs and and Arizona, they look not just like they're like when they won against Dallas, they beat the crap out of Dallas.
Yeah, and then they for about 2.5, 3 quarters, was actually matched up well against the 49ers. So
Yeah.
and it's Bengals at Arizona. So they're at home. So that could be you could be the making the right choice here. I
Yeah.
guess it's just, I like the story of Dobbs. But I think I keep banking that Joe Burrow is eventually going to get back right. But as Chris has implied, you just Chase is always open. Just ask him.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if you ask Scotty Miller, he'll say that he's open all the time.
That's right. That's
Even
right.
when he's on the bench, he's like, just throw it to me, man.
Just throw it to me. I get it. All right. Bills versus Jags. Okay, look, I know it's the Jags are playing at their second home out in London. But I just think the Josh Allen, you're catching him at the early part of the season when he tends to be at his best, you know, um, before the playoff pressure gets on. Uh, I just think it's too much for them to overcome.
I
Because you got
mean,
to think about it. Last week they only scored 16 on us.
yeah, they only scored 16 on us. Our defense, especially defensive line, was getting to. We were like he was getting rid of it,
Yeah,
but we were getting to Lawrence. If we're getting to Lawrence, unless something dramatic happens, that defensive line is going to eat Lawrence alive all day.
right. So yeah, I think Toby would probably agree, as we all picked the Bills.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, Colts versus Titans. I don't know. The Colts are pesky. They took the Rams to overtime. I know the Titans have got a good defense, but I like I said earlier, I've just been enjoying what the chaos that Anthony Richardson brings to the Colts, and I think that they get a win.
It very well could be, but I just think that the so far this will probably be the best defense they have faced.
Yeah, like
Uh,
top to bottom.
I think
Yeah,
top to bottom, this will be the best defense, and I think that this is now if he can get out and like actually run and again run but not kill himself
right.
while doing so, then this could make it a different thing. But I think the Titans are just going to be able to get to him, and
Okay,
I think they're probably going to be able to confuse him. So we may see some picks or whatever. But I just feel like that defense is going to be a little bit too much for a young quarterback.
it makes sense. It makes sense. It's valid reasoning. All right, San Francisco. Yeah, ain't nobody trusting Dak Prescott or the Dallas offense. Now, Dallas
F the
defense.
Cowboys.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not much for America's team, right? Uh, Three Dirty says, "What's up, P for P? What's
What's
going
up,
on,
Three
man?
Dirty?
Glad you decided to stop in on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We are just rolling through our picks. If y'all got if you want to throw your, you know, picks up there as we were going through them. Feel free to.
Yeah.
Like I said, we think that the 49ers is just going to be too much for the Cowboys to handle. They are a far more complete team all the way around.
Mhm. And like that offensive line for San Francisco is legit. Like if they're if Arizona was able to handle this defense pretty well, I think that San Francisco is going to be able to. But yeah,
Yep.
I will say this NFL season has been crazy, a little more crazy than what we're used to. So anything could happen, but I don't think I don't think the Cowboys have quite enough to get by 49ers today
There you go.
or Sunday.
Dolphins and Giants. Yeah, we're with Wink Martindale. Like he says, he sleeps like a baby, thinking about the Dolphins offense, trying to stop it. Meaning he wakes up every 2 hours and cries because I don't think that they got the. I don't like. Look, I know the Bills handled them, and maybe um, Wink is able to like take some lessons learned from watching the Bills,
Yeah.
but the Giants defense has yet to like really start coming together, and I just think they don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with Miami.
No.
So I just don't see that happening.
No, they're going to need, in order to win this game, either a completely different team is going to have to show up than the one that we've been seeing,
Right.
or like they're literally just going to have to play defense and try to score defensive touchdowns, because that's about the only way they're going to. I think they even have a shot at winning.
Right. And plus they're in Miami. So right. All right, moving right along. Eagles versus Rams. We're like I said, we are not like being we are presenting a united front on a lot of these picks this week.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it rolled out. I don't think
I think that if there's a very real chance that the Rams can beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles are just getting lucky. Like their defense has been good enough. They've been able to avoid some stuff, but we'll see if they're able to do the same thing against LA.
right. That's kind of that's kind of my thoughts there. I don't think they're going to be able to. Now you can look at the Eagles, had a tough time with the Commanders who just got smoked by the Bears. That's an in division game. Those are always wonky. Those are always a toss up.
Yeah.
You have more info and more intel on your division than you have on any other team. Like your players are more used to playing those players. So those games can always be a little wonky. But I think that the Eagles running game is too much. It's going to be too much for the Rams to stop. And I don't think that they're going to be able to compete with their keep pace offensively. I mean, Puka Nakua has been a great story. He's helped me out tremendously on my fantasy team, but I don't know. Unless
we'll see. Like there's been a couple times where they've done some good stuff, but the Eagles' offense just hasn't quite looked like they've got it.
And that's
like
the scary part,
right? But you would think, I would think that by week 4, week 5, that we would see it be more in sync than what it's been. So we'll see.
Right?
But it's looked like slightly, other than the running game. Like when they finally get frustrated and they're like, we're just going to run it down your throat and then nobody can stop it. Okay. Then once they start doing that, then there's not really much to say. But as far as like trying to, when they're early in the game and they're trying to throw the ball a little bit more consistently, things just haven't looked quite right.
Right.
It didn't look like it did last year.
Take a brief second. Says Skizzle Gaming says, "Thank you guys. Couldn't wait for the stream. Hey man, we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
we thank you for stopping in on this Saturday morning. Alberto adds, he's tired of ESPN and Fox talking about the Cowboys. Like these type of shows all around the NFL. It's kind of the point
Yeah.
because, like, obviously we're like y'all. We don't get paid to do this, so we're not beholden to national ratings. We can talk about what we want to, and hopefully it's something that y'all enjoy.
Yep.
So, all right, moving right along. Falcons versus Texans. Hey, we're back at home, dag nabbit.
Yep.
Ritter's undefeated at home.
Yep.
Hopefully,
And we're gonna be in the building, so
that's right. We're gonna
we're
bring some
bringing
good luck charm and
exactly.
like you got your rabbit's foot, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go find a rabbit and go get a fresh one because we need all the help that we can get. Now, CJ Stroud has been playing lights out, and hopefully, week 5 they've got some film on him, and Ryan Nielsen and Jerry Gray can give him some looks that will cause him to throw his first turnover or his first pick. He hasn't thrown one yet, so
I didn't throw one at all.
not that I'm aware of. I don't think he's thrown because I think that's part of the big like CJ Stroud is let's see player stats. Stroud, yeah, 0 interceptions to 6 touchdowns. So, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we can get to him. Hopefully we can rattle him, and hopefully we can get some turnovers.
Maybe we can get a pick with somebody other than Jesse Bates.
Look, I don't care if it is Jesse Bates. I just
but I would like to see somebody else. I mean, AJ had his opportunity and he mucked it up. Let's see if Okuda can
get it going.
Can get it going.
Yep. All right. Broncos Jets. I don't trust Russell Wilson. I think the Jets defense is, even though their offense looks like a dumpster fire, their defense is still a good defense.
Their offense has, for the most part, looked like a dumpster fire. However, last week
they started.
Didn't look that bad,
right?
Zach Wilson kind of looked like he was learning some things.
Yep.
So I mean, we'll see how that progresses.
We'll see how it goes.
But if Zach Wilson can give them anything and just be competent most of the time,
as long as Zach Wilson is hitting some like standard plays and not turning the daggone ball over, they've got a decent run game with Breece Hall, Michael Carter, and Dalvin Cook. Yep. They've got a good defense, and it's not like the Broncos are a formidable opponent. Now, Toby's going with the Broncos. I'm assuming coming off the heels of that comeback win against the Bears, that maybe they're starting to find a groove offensively and get some stuff going. So I don't know. We'll see. It should be an interesting game for that.
I just want Sean Payton to lose as many games as possible.
This is true. This is very true. All right. The Lions and Panthers. I think they have circled the problem there. The Panthers logo. Now, I think the Lions are right now one of the better teams in the NFC in the early parts of the season. They've went through their struggles. Started 1-6 last year, finished out strong, and have started strong this year. So I think that it's just going to be too much for the Panthers to overcome. Your thoughts there, John?
Is Bryce? Did Bryce play last week?
Yes, he played last week against the Vikings. And for the first time in a minute, like the Vikings, let's see, it was week 4. They won the game, but it was, come on. Yeah, 21-13. Like, so going into the half, like the Panthers were up and they were playing a decent game, but they just couldn't come out and finish it.
The Lions are a better team than the Vikings right now.
Right. And also Carolina's going on the road. So
yeah, now that offensive line is that offensive line is going to have issues.
What to do, William? Glad you decided to join us. All right. And so Green Bay Raiders, I am not trusting Josh McDaniels. I don't
Nope.
care if Jimmy Garoppolo is cleared. I don't think Josh McDaniels is a good head coach. So I probably won't pick them at all this year.
I would like to see the Raiders win against Green Bay because I don't like Green Bay. I would like to see Green Bay lose, but for the sake of my picks, I don't think that's going to happen. I think
Yeah. Like this is like where sometimes with these picks, you got to like put your wants aside and take a realistic look at it. Like the Raiders are going
except for the Falcons pick. I'm going to
right.
pick the Falcons the whole year. It doesn't matter if it's realistic for me to do it or not. I will still do it.
There you go. Like they just released Chandler Jones. That's a mess. Like the
Yeah.
whole deal with the Raiders is they're just a mess right now. So I'm just not picking them whatsoever. All right, moving on. All right, I'm on an island. I get it. I even picked I get it. I get it. Like what I said a second ago. You can't always pick with your emotions. I think that Mac Jones has shown a willingness to throw the ball to the other team. So much so that they benched him at the end of the last game and put in Bailey Zappi.
So Bailey Zappi will start the game, and then he won't turn the ball over. The Saints will. Is it Derek Carr? Like I know he had
I'm pretty sure it's Derek Carr. I think it is Derek Carr.
All right, well,
because he played last week for him,
and so he'll have his shoulder thing, so he'll be bad. And then their defense is going to be good, but it's just not going to be enough.
not going to be enough, huh?
And is it in New Orleans or is it in New England?
It is Saints in New England.
Yeah, no. If it was in New Orleans, I might
you might give it to him?
No, I still wouldn't give it to him.
I'm saying you think would though. Okay,
but I could see why somebody would pick him. In New England, nah.
The Patriots just lost Matt Judon, and you lost Christian Gonzalez, and so yeah, I think that the Saints defense is just going to be too much for him. But that's my thoughts there. It pains me to say it, but that's what I think.
So, I mean, you're wrong, but that's okay.
You're wrong, but that's right. Toby is on an island here, so he cannot necessarily.
I don't know
himself.
I don't understand what you're seeing with the Steelers that would say I want to pick them against the Ravens right now.
Let's see. Maybe he's thinking it's a divisional game and the Steelers are at home, so maybe that's what he's. That's what he's thinking.
That offense has been horrid.
Yeah, but so far, Kenny Pickett, believe it or not, other than interceptions, like is playing at a little bit higher of a level than Lamar. But yeah, no, I mean,
but you say okay. I see what you're saying, but it's like, well, except for these game-changing plays that he could possibly.
That's what I was just.
That helps to lose.
That's
He's
what I was
playing pretty good.
I was like, Lamar's playing with a 104 quarterback rating, and Kenny Pickett, who had a banged up knee, has got a 76 quarterback rating. So, yeah, I mean, stat wise, they might be similar, but yeah, you're right. Like game changing interceptions. But Lamar did pick it up quite a bit last week, if I'm not mistaken. Had a good game.
Yeah.
Who'd they play last week? Deal with me as I scroll through a scoreboard. What?
Oh, so am I.
There it is. The Browns. They played the Browns.
They surprised
28 up. They put up 28 on the Browns.
Yeah,
so
that's a real good defense too.
Right, and Lamar threw for 2 touchdowns. Demetrius says, "Hello, family. Happy weekend, everyone.
Happy weekend.
Tubbing in while rolling these 22. Hello, okay, rolling the 22s." And double up highway to Nashville and then back to Atlanta. I did that earlier this week. My company's building a building up right outside Nashville, like a condo thing. And so I had to make the drive up to Nashville and back. Whew, watch out for that 24 interchange there. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen. All right. Creep on moving. Chiefs versus Vikings. Nobody's taking Kirk Cousins. Like, he's even on my fantasy team. And I was like, nope. Not taking Kirk Cousins.
He's been the perfect fantasy football QB.
Oh, yeah. He's been, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those touchdown after touchdown. And doesn't he's not throwing any picks, so he's not costing you anything.
Yep. Nope.
But it's just not enough
Not
because
even.
the rest
Yeah.
of the team can't quite compensate, man.
That's it. I think Patrick Mahomes and um, Travis Swift
Yep.
are gonna just be too much for the
Mr.
Vikings.
Pfizer, as
Yeah,
Aaron
Mr.
Rodgers would say.
Yeah, Mr. Pfizer. Mr. Pfizer, Travis Swift.
Yep.
As it's gonna be too much for the
Oh.
Vikings. All right, I think, and that's the last game because we got bye weeks. $5, man. We appreciate that, Demetrius
Whoa,
Martin.
hold up,
Hey, yeah,
I was
I'm
not
not.
expecting to get
You weren't
anything today.
prepared. You weren't prepared.
I was not prepared.
Yeah, look, there it is. Look at you slacking
Appreciate
jaw.
it.
But yeah, we got 4 teams on a bye this week.
Yeah.
Let's see, the Chargers, the Seahawks, the Bucks, and the Browns. So we only had the 14-ish games to talk about. So yeah, there is our picks. Hopefully you don't bet on any advice that we have given because this is not advice
No,
by any stretch.
this is not a betting advice show.
Hold on, I gotta because I want to remind y'all now when we say that this is not advice. Ah, stop it. There it is. This is our record, okay? Not necessarily up to Vegas standards. So you might not want to follow that. We just have fun kind of going through
Yeah, we're
the
not
games.
going like against the spread or
No, heck no. I ain't doing all that. I barely even understand that kind of stuff. That makes my head start spinning. Too much math in this early in the morning. But
math.
either way, yeah, that's right,
Oh.
mathing. That's betting math right there. Well, that will conclude our weekend look around the league. We appreciate y'all joining us.
Absolutely.
Actually had a little bit more of a turnout than I figured we would. 14 or 15, and y'all are awesome folks.
Yep.
As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. Jonathan.
At Jonathan M. Holder. Come by, say hi.
Yep. And if y'all want to hit up Toby, he's Toby D 1991.
Yep.
We will be back live on Tuesday, hopefully talking about a Falcons win. Because if we go on a 3-game losing streak, it's going to get rough. Anyway, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for stopping by. And as always, football fans, rise up.
Rise up.